Hello, welcome to NFT Studio 24. This is Hinza here. Podcast series where we have experts interview from all over the world to know their insight on Web3, web market trend, blockchain, and other information regarding the emerging technology. NFT Studio 24 is a Japan-based decentralized media platform. Our main focus is to remove the country barrier and the language barrier to increase communication in the Web3, Metaverse, and blockchain. By immersing this decentralization, our aim to provide a transparent and media ecosystem in that. Today's episode, we have a very special guest, David Ham, with us. David is the Business Development Director at the South Korea at the Certic, a leading blockchain security solution provider. He is one of the pioneer personality to join the crypto and Web3 space. With a great market insight and expertise, David has established a big name. Beyond his professional accomplishment, he is also known for his passion and dedicating to promoting the blockchain adoption and education. He is a startup mentor of the TechStars Web3 and is also the board member and strategic advisor of his co-founding company, Midway. We are glad to have you here, David.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for that great introduction.
Yeah, I know you have a very tough schedule, but thank you so much for giving us the time. So this is my first question. As we have last meet, you inform us that you are the early Bitcoin adopter. So as you say that you bought the BTC when it was only just $400. Can you share your experience with investing in Bitcoin and what is the big reason for you to pursue your career in the Web3 media industry?
Yeah, so I'm definitely, you could say, an early sort of adopter or founder of this new sort of technology. So actually my first sort of, you could say, foot in the door was actually at 99 cents, not 400. So 99 cents, and I sold everything at $100. I saw the price go up and I realized that I made a big mistake. Luckily, the price came back down somewhere around $300-400. It's more closer to $300. And I went back in and I decided to never make a mistake again. And I'm still a Bitcoin holder. So from my experience with Bitcoin, so starting back in 2010 to where we are now today, there have been a few bear markets. You could say there have been a few situations of panic for many people. But if you look at where the industry is today, is probably 29,000 times where it was when I started in 2010. Even though we are in a bear market now, I'm pretty bullish that we'll see brighter days. In terms of how this has impacted my career, well, it's basically changed my life, right? So it's changed my outlook. Blockchain is a technology that I feel has the impact changing capacity, and that's why I've sort of jumped full on into this rabbit hole, and I'm here now.
Yeah, absolutely. Just introduce about our audience what is the CertiK and how it contribute the future of blockchain technology.
Yeah, so Certic is an interesting company in the industry. We're positioned well. So a lot of people believe that Certic is a blockchain company, but we're actually not a blockchain company. We're actually an IT service, an engineering firm, security firm. And what we do to contribute to the blockchain technology in the industry is we help to secure blockchain companies, blockchain services.
Yeah.
So, our sort of main line of business is uncovering and identifying, the potential risks and vulnerabilities that could be, there in particular services. So I believe that we play a part in helping blockchain Web3 companies be safer, more trustable and secure. And I guess that's where we are playing a role in the industry.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Currently, many non-Web3 users find the blockchain-based application and platform to be the unreliable. How does the Certic ensure the security and integrity of the smart contract and decentralized application with its product? It's a very important thing.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of different factors here, right? So one is, using blockchain services is not necessarily as simple as, what we have come to, be used to with other services in Web 2. So that's one. Two is, due to this, there's also a lot of risk in terms of how projects or products or smart contracts are coded. Sometimes it's done in, you could say, potentially prematurely, without having that second or third opinion. And then third, again, because it is this new technology, there is a lot of value at stake here. There are a lot of sort of bad players potentially in the industry who are also looking to attack these types of services. So how we help projects is, if they are building smart contracts, we audit that smart contract. We help identify potential vulnerabilities, risks, and we let the projects know, hey, these are some things that you should fix. When people use your service, there is a potential for them to be affected. One of the things that we're doing right now as well too is a lot of companies in Web 2 are trying to get into Web 3, and a lot of that is really about connecting a wallet. So we've been testing wallets, we've been monitoring, we do something called a pen test, and we try to seek out the holes in the system, and we identify those, and we let the projects know that these are areas you could fix. So for us, it's safety in services is safety for the users as well.
So, is this only for the B2B business, or the small projects you can also be audited?
Yeah, so again, from a Certic perspective, we are a startup as well too. So we've been around since 2018, but again, we I guess you could say that for security, trust, and safety, we can't really discriminate against small projects or large projects, or if you're a conglomerate. I think all projects have their position and place in the industry in terms of helping grow the industry. So we definitely are open to work with any project, startup or conglomerate. We obviously do certain checks to make sure that there is a certain level of quality. And the reason why we do that is we want to make sure that anything that is going into mainstream, into sort of adoption, we want to make sure that it's safe and trustable. Right?
Trustable, yes. If a Web3 startup is looking to authenticate its brand and product, what you suggest to them as a business development director?
Yeah. So if you're a company that's creating like a decentralized application or a service where you are looking to onboard users, then first things first is, I think that these products and services should be designed with trust and safety in mind. And then if you have smart contracts, because there's going to be potentially a token economy, tokenomics here, then that smart contract should be audited. And from a BD perspective at Certic, it's give us a call, let us know what you're doing, ask questions, and let us ask questions, right? And that way we can find a way together to help again build a secure service.
Yeah. My fifth question is, I know it's a little bit big one. I hope you can make it in a small. Why should a company do a smart contract audit with your company? And can you explain the process of Certic security audit for the smart contract and the blockchain projects? The smart contract, as you know, is very important in the blockchain area. So please explain this one.
Yeah, I mean, the smart contract is actually essentially it is the heart of any blockchain solution, right? So, if you consider the smart contract as the engine that drives the car, you definitely need to get that checked out, right? Audited to make sure that
your examples is always you just the right example. It's just like an engine.
Exactly. That's because smart contracts are used to automate, right? Essentially, a smart contract is actually it's actually just logic, right? If this, then that, right? But in between, if there are sort of say things that have gone unchecked, then it could potentially lead to problems down the line. And usually in this industry, those problems lead to a loss of value, right? A loss of money, a loss of funds. And so that has the implication to, cause a lot of headaches for people, right? Yes. And as well, if you are a service provider or service operator, it could be a situation where there is a massive loss of trust, right? So why Certic? So this is a question that a lot of people ask. It's a very competitive industry. But as I mentioned before, Certic's been around since 2018. We've audited, over 4,500 smart contracts. There's a certain percentage of the market. If you look at CoinMarketCap, there's over 15,000 projects listed on CoinMarketCap, and these are tokenized projects. We have audited very close to 60-70% of these projects. So what that means is not just we've been around the longest or we're the biggest. I mean, sure, because we've been around, but what's important here is because we've audited so many smart contracts, we actually have one of the biggest databases of known vulnerabilities and risks, right? So what we're able to do is we're able to easily identify, sort of common risks, common issues, common vulnerabilities. These are easily identified. Now, what goes into the process is, we have very talented engineers who do actually look at this code line by line, right? We do have tools that we utilize to, audit the contracts, but we also have, very, very, brilliant minds that are actually looking at this code line by line. And I think that is what is really, really important. There's a lot of talk in the industry of, you could audit a smart contract with AI or ChatGPT very easily, but there is a certain set of logic that goes behind checking these services, right? So I'd say, from that perspective, we definitely are one of the go-to organizations for auditing and security in general.
Yeah. The sixth question is my favorite question because we have lots of startup companies, and also we have a pool ecosystem of the investors from Japan. So this is the main question for me especially. The Certic recently launched the Skynet in April. What is the platform tool for and how does it help investors in judging any Web3 project? Because there are lots of hackathons and startup programs and over there. So please explain about this one.
Yeah, so Skynet is basically a platform where we provide this transparency, right? Blockchain is about transparency, and one of the things that's very important is we provide the information related to all the projects, all the smart contracts that we have audited, right? So we provide those reports. They are available to the public. Sometimes in these reports, most of the times, we identify a number of risks, and the projects will actually go and fix those risks because they do understand, the importance of having a service that is, safe. In some cases, there are projects that may not have the ability to, fix those services, fix those vulnerabilities. So what we actually do with Skynet is we provide full disclosure is that, hey, when we audited this contract, this project, we identified, 8 different risks, 10 different risks. The project fixed 4 of them, but there are still, these pending risk or vulnerable items. So watch out, right? So essentially we are providing a security score, a security rating for projects. So for investors, they can be rest assured that, when they do search in Skynet and they find projects that they are interested in, they will have full disclosure of all this sort of security related audits or due diligence that has taken place. So this is, you could say, an extra added layer or level of confidence that they could take in their decisions.
But I have one more question regarding this question. That when you say the security scores, so is it include the bugs area? You are finding the bugs from the Web3 projects, or you checking that the code is copy from another project? What kind of the security scores?
Yeah, well, again, at the end of the day, it's, what we're checking for is if, we use this service, how many potential risk points are there in this smart contract, right? Again, we work with the exchanges, right? So usually if you want to get listed on an exchange, the exchange will ask you, have you gotten your smart contract audited? And usually when they ask is, who have you gotten your smart contract audited from, right? Because, there is a certain level of, monitoring, or a certain level of inquiry that we do when we are, auditing smart contracts, right? And you could say that it could be considered, somewhat of an industry standard, right? So again, there are a lot of very talented auditors out there, and a lot of talented teams. But one of the things that we have done is, we provide full disclosure on all of our findings, right? So ABC company has, 10 risks. One might be centralization risk. One might be, this smart contract has the ability to issue new tokens, right? This contract has the ability to just stop everything that they're doing. These are very risky things, right? You could say sometimes, very obvious, signs that there could be a potential rug pull with this project, right? So, these are known sort of indicators, and what we do is we provide full disclosure of that. And so it's there to see, right? And one of the things that, you could judge, hey, if this project is trustable or, reliable, is that, hey, actually they fixed it. They went out there, they made the effort to find out, ask a third party, and then they made the changes, right? Because what was important to them was that, not that they might have, missed a code, or maybe they overlooked something, or maybe they didn't know, was that they made the effort to create something that people could use and trust, right?
Yes, of course. This one is the very important point. So my 7th questions: how does the Certic's KYC protect user data while ensuring a secure and transparent verification process?
Yeah, I mean, basically our KYC process really, it helps to verify, the project's team members, right? Basically we are helping docs people, right? There in Web3, there are a lot of projects where, founders are, anon, right? Unknown. They may be only known by their code name or their PFP. And in this scenario, it could, in Web3, it is quite interesting. And sometimes, these unknown individuals could be seen as, very bright individuals, heroes, visionaries, right? But then at the end of the day, if you look at, traditional users or traditional investors, they want to know who they are dealing with. Who is this brilliant founder, right? What is his track record? Where, how did this team come to be?
But
right?
most of the people are just 30s and the 32 and all this. They don't have a successful track record.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is this, right? I mean, the beauty of Web3 is that, we are at such an early stage in the industry. Sure, it's been like 12 years, but, there's a lot of room for, brilliant minds, right? You don't necessarily have to have had like, 10, 11 years experience in the industry like I have, to have come up with, something really, truly great and useful. But what our KYC service does is it does help to identify, who are these people building this project, right? And what's unique about the KYC service that Certic provides is it is the project's choice if they want to use this service or not, right? So do they want to let their potential customers know that, hey, we are very open and agreeable to have a security company identify us and verify us, right? So I think that's the important part here. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So do you think the blockchain security solutions provider like the Certic can drive this technology forward to handling the massive confidential data and sensitive information?
Yeah. So, for us, we don't necessarily, tap into, a lot of that sensitive data. What we are essentially doing is we want to make sure that the infrastructure that handles that data, that handles those transactions is functioning properly, is designed properly, and is built properly, right? Built the way that it's, said to be, built the way that the white paper said it was going to be, built the way that the team has presented it to be, right? So, I think where we are helping to you could say protect this large amount of data is that we're helping projects, create a service that could handle this data properly, right? Again, at the end of the day, there are a few other things involved. There are, business decisions that are outside of technology that we can't control. But what we try to do is we help to make sure that the technology is, you could say, as safe and secure and trustable, right? So I think in this industry where there is lots of data, there is lots of information, there is lots of money sort of going back and forth, that trust is the most important thing, right? And we have seen in this industry where people have trusted certain protocols and they've lost a lot of money, right? And so where does technology come in place when there are sort of external factors outside of technology that could drive to those types of incidents? But what we also do as well is we do respond to incidents, and we help identify what could have gone wrong or what potentially happened. And then we use that information on a go-forward basis to help projects, right? And say, hey, this is what we've seen. Maybe you need to be careful in these areas, right?
Oh yes, absolutely right. So if any new white hackers or blockchain security developers wish to join Certic, what do you advise to give them?
Yeah. So my advice is to keep doing what they're doing, because I think that the industry needs white hackers. The industry needs really, really talented blockchain security engineers. And so if any of these individuals or want to have an opportunity to be a part of, sort of the Certic journey, get in touch, right? We are always hiring. We have all of the jobs posted on the website, on different sort of social media, like on LinkedIn, etc. We're very open to that, right? Let me know, get in touch, right? I think that's the biggest thing. You never know, right? There might be an opportunity. Yeah. And I mean, one of the things that's interesting with us as well too is, we are very open to discussing with white hackers, because white hackers are the ones that identify, the risks, right? So with every, new development, there is someone out there who is just smart enough to be able to hack that, right? And so if we have people who are smart enough to hack those services on our side, how much safer will we get? Much safer, right? So I think it's very essential, and we're very excited to engage and meet with people who have those capabilities.
So my last question, what is your message to NFT studio community, the newcomers and the developers and artists and NFTs investors? What is your message for them?
So my message to the community is this: if you're new to Web3, the biggest thing is educate yourself. Do your research, right? This is the biggest thing, right? Ask questions, check around. If you're unsure, ask again, right? Setting up a wallet, if you've been in the industry, it just seems like, whatever, I'll set up my wallet, right? But if you're new to this industry, you download a wallet or you buy a hardware wallet, and then you go in, you create a seed phrase, and how do you store the seed phrase? All of these things are really quite unusual to, the regular everyday process of using services, in a simple way, right? So blockchain is meant to make things easier, but some of the processes are very difficult, right? And so onboarding could be difficult, but also building something where you're trying to help people on board easily could be very difficult. There needs to be a lot of thought processes in place. Like myself, I've been in this industry a very long time, but the reason why I stay is because I feel like I learn something new every day in this industry, right? And in order to, sort of stay afloat and be on top of things here, things can change in an instant, right? Someone gets hacked, there's a loss of $40-50 billion in the industry, and exchange goes down, etc. People in the industry need to sort of adjust to the situations. There's regulations and a lot of other factors as well too. So to be informed all the time and to understand what's going on, I think is the biggest thing that people need to keep in mind when taking part in this Web3 journey, because the more you know, the smarter you are. The smarter you are, the more confident you are, right? Not to be overconfident, but just to be able to understand, because there's this massive potential, right? And still we're early. So if you have that sort of knowledge base, then as we move forward, potentially you might not just be a user, but you might be a developer. You might be a builder of, one of the greatest services in the future.
So thank you so much for your time. And so stay connected, and please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.